Hi, everyone. Remember that your paper is due. That's the one page, two paragraph paper about attached to an email sent to me at michael.goldstein at kbcc.cuny.edu. Michael.goldstein at kbcc.cuny.edu. Please send me the attachment. This is the one page assignment that I put up on Brightspace regarding your history in business, your interest in business. Tell me who you are with your name in it, and make sure you get it to me ASAP. I appreciate that. Hope everything's going well with you. Today I wanted to talk to you a little bit more about sole proprietorship and really get into the idea of what a sole proprietorship is and how it affects you and the different streams of income that would be coming from a small business. And I could talk about different small businesses and apply it to anything. But really, when you're looking at a business, you're looking at streams of income. Now, when you guys do your own business plan, I'm going to ask you to tell me where your income is coming from. How many students? Let's do the tutorial again. So you're a tutor. How many students do you need per week in order to achieve your level of income? How much are you going to be charging them? What is the market bear in the area that you're in order to charge them? Are you going to do a half hour of tutoring, 45 minutes of tutoring, an hour of tutoring? Is it going to be a real hour, or is it going to be a 45-minute hour? All these things that are important in terms of how much you're going to charge, what kind of materials do you need, where are you going to meet, is there a transportation cost to get from where you are to where you're meeting the student? Are you going to their homes? Are you going to do it in the, let's say, in a cafeteria at the college? Are you going to do it at a library? All these types of things go into how much revenue you're bringing in. How much time does it take you to get from? You have to calculate that too. If you're going to a library, or if you're going to the college, or if you're going to somebody's home, how much time are you giving of yourself that's to get to the place that it takes to do your job? So I want to talk to you, and I hope I don't bore you, but this is really important for your business plan. We're going to talk about the beginning of the business plan. It's a 5-page business plan, very short, but you're going to have to do it for the completion of the class, and I can't give you a grade at all in this class unless you complete that 5-page business plan. So you're going to have to do it, and it's important to the class, and it's important to yourself, and it's important to me understanding that you understood what we did this entire semester. So let's talk about my business and my business plan. When I first opened up this business with others, and I partnered with others, the idea was originally my idea. I came up with the business plan, and I looked for people to partner with in terms of this business plan. I had been going to many, the type of business I'm in, so I'll explain it to you. I don't even know if I've mentioned it. I own a small cigar shop. It's not a large cigar shop. It's a cigar shop and lounge. When I say a cigar shop and lounge, it means that we sell cigars to the individuals, customers that come into the store, and we also sell what's called memberships to people who want to come in and smoke in the lounge. Now, we offer all sorts of things with the membership, and the membership fee is right now $75 a month. It's very, very reasonable. There are shops in New Jersey where I live that charge up to $200 a month. There are shops in Princeton, New Jersey, where Princeton University is, that's right by my home, that charge $250 a month because the people have corporate accounts. They get pay. In other words, companies will pay for people to go and do their meetings at the cigar shop. A lot of people do. From my cigar shop, a lot of people bring their laptops and do work from the cigar shop. They work either at an office or they're doing some sort of work there, and it's for the office. But I would say on a given morning at my cigar shop, kind of like at a Starbucks, there'll be 6 or 7 people with their laptops there, doing their work. Now, they usually bring breakfast. We allow food into our cigar shop, so you can bring food from other places. They bring coffee. We have if you're a member at our cigar shop, well, let me do the membership benefits. So for $75, so we get $75 a month from a member. They get free coffee. We have a Keurig, nice Keurig in the back that makes coffee, and they can make coffee, and they get cream and milk. We have a refrigerator back there also, and they also get what's called a humidor, a box where they can keep their cigars that they buy, and they don't have to necessarily buy them at our store. They can buy them anywhere, and they can keep them in this box, and it keeps them what's called humidified, so the cigars do not lose their humidity. We constantly fill it up with distilled water, and so that the cigars. So for $75 a month, we have members, and we have now, and I'm going to guess at it, I would say 70, 80 members at the cigar shop. These are people that on a continual basis, we get their credit card. We charge them every month $75 until they tell us not to do that. I don't want to be a member anymore, but most people don't. They stay members, forever. Because it's a great deal. It's a beautiful lounge in the back. We have there's 2 places. So the front of the store is for non-members. And we have nice chairs there in the front of the store, and people can come in and buy cigars and smoke in the front of the store. And there's a big window, you can look out, and it's not huge, but it's nice. We could seat about 14 people in the front of the store. And in the back of the store, we have a beautiful cigar lounge, with big screen TVs, and we have dominoes tables, and we have a poker table. People come in at night, they play dominoes, they play poker. They do their work in the back. We have big luxury leather chairs, nicer chairs in the back than we do in the front. Although in the front we have pleather chairs, not real, but in the back we have really nice leather chairs. So in order to be able to access the back, you have to be a member. Now, even if you're a member, you have to, every time you walk into the cigar shop, if you want to sit down, you have to buy at least 1 cigar. And I'll talk to you about the pricing of cigars and so forth. And then if you are a non-member and you want to come in the back, you have to buy 4 cigars. So we allow non-members to sit in the back sometimes. Certain times it's private. But they can buy 4 cigars and sit in the back. But usually, in order to just sit in the store, you have to buy at least 1 cigar. And you can bring food into the store, and people come into the store. And you say to yourself, well, why is that? Well, there's a very, very social aspect to my store, much more than any other store around. People like to talk with other people. They sit around on these chairs in the back. They watch sporting events. We watch movies. We watch all sorts of things. In the front, they sit and they talk to strangers. They talk to people that they've known for years. A lot of the people who are at the cigar store who come in have been, friends because of the cigar store for 4, 5, 6 years, 7 years. Some of them, we opened the store it's been about 6 years ago, so 6 years. So pretty much, I bought a former store, but we redid it. I'll talk to you a little bit about that. So do you buy a store and start it new, or do you buy somebody else's store? In our case, we bought a store that already existed. We changed the name. We changed all the look of it. We changed the attitude of it. We made it a much better user-friendly store. But that's another thing. In fact, everybody who's in our store loves the way it is now rather than the way it used to be. Now, the way I make money is 2 ways. I have 2 real streams of revenue. Couple of other streams, but I'll talk to you about our 2 major streams of revenue. We make money selling the cigars, individual cigars and boxes of cigars. And each of the cigars, I would say, ranges in price. Our lowest price cigars are around $10. $10 a stick. To our highest price cigars at the store, which are around $80 to $100 for the higher end cigars. Most people buy cigars that are around $15, $16 a cigar. That I would say is pretty much the average. Some of them, some $20, but really somebody who comes into the store who smokes cigars on a daily basis will buy a $15 cigar. And usually they'll come into the store and most people don't buy one cigar, they'll buy two or three cigars. Sometimes, like the other day, I had a guy coming in for a wedding, he was the best man. He bought 8 boxes of cigars, not high-end cigars, good cigars. 8 boxes, that's about $2,000. So he came in, he bought 8 boxes of cigars, that's about $2,000. And we have the money that we get in a revenue stream. So we get the money that we get from the cigars. By the way, when I say $2,000, that's not $2,000 profit, that's $2,000 gross. I had to pay for those cigars. So there's money that's going out paying for those cigars. But there's a huge markup on the cigars. I'll tell you what the markup is for my cigars. Plus, we have to pay a huge amount of tax to the state of New Jersey for cigars. A lot of states, New York has I think New York is maybe 50% tax. New Jersey isn't quite that bad. But there are other states in the United States that have no tax on cigars. Like, Florida has no tax or very little tax on cigars. Texas has no tax on cigars. New York and New Jersey, they try to discourage people from, tobacco use, and they are very, very heavy in terms of their cigar taxing. A lot of people in the state legislature and so forth want to get rid of cigar smoking totally, even though we don't bother anybody. We have great ventilation in our place. We don't annoy anyone. But there are people that want to get rid of cigars, and nobody comes into the store that doesn't smoke cigars. So we're a cigar store. So we're indoors, we're not outdoors. We don't bother people, but we're adults. We make our own choices. I personally, have my own issues about health. There are maybe health issues with it, but I enjoy cigar smoking. I've always done it. I've done it since I was a young man. My father did it. My grandfather did it. And that's the kind of business I wanted to get into. So I came up with when I was at Kingsborough, when I was teaching full-time, I wanted to come up with a business. My wife and I decided that the best thing that I could do in retirement was have something that I could do that would keep me busy and keep me active and also earn me an income. Not a huge income, but enough of an income that my pension from Kingsborough, it's not really a pension, but it's my 401k and my savings and whatever other ways I have of making money, that I would be a supplement, Social Security, so forth. So I decided I was gonna buy into a business while I was in Kingsborough. I was gonna look for partners for a business because I couldn't do it alone. A lot of times, starting a business is cost prohibitive for someone who doesn't have a lot of cash on hand. And also, I didn't want to suffer the burden alone. If the business didn't do well, I would lose all my money. Here, I'm putting in a certain amount of money and a certain amount of time. So I did not want to worry about, what would happen in terms of if the business went under, would I lose a considerable amount of money? So in terms of the streams of income, I really loved I would go into cigar places and I would ask the owners of cigar stores a lot of questions. I wanted to learn as much as I could about the business. Now, this is something I think is a great tool for you. Always ask questions. Always, don't be afraid. Don't be shy. If you see something that's interesting to you in life, any kind of business, any kind of job, always look for that opportunity to look for mentors or people who can help you. They might not be somebody who help you forever, but they may give you some good, solid advice. Or you may not like the advice. You take the advice and you throw it away. But don't be afraid to ask. Open a door. Look at people. Ask them, how do you do this? What are the benefits of it? How much do you make doing this? Is this a fun business? Do you enjoy it? Is it a hard business? A lot of people will tell you this is not the business that it once was. I am not happy with it. Listen, a lot of cigar owners were telling me they're getting out of the business. They're not happy with it. It's not their business anymore. They can't stand the government regulations. They can't stand, people aren't smoking as many cigars as they used to. People are not buying cigars. The young generation, is into weed. They're not into cigars. I want to open up a weed store. I don't want to open up a cigar store. So, yeah, most of the people who come to my store, I would guess you would call us boomers. A lot of us are boomers, but we have a lot of young people too. We have a lot of people in their 20s and 30s. But there are, it weighs heavily on the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. We have people in their 90s that come in and smoke. We have a lot of Vietnam vets that come in and smoke. A lot of bikers that come in and smoke that are in their 80s and 90s that smoke cigars. We get firemen, policemen, we get cops, we get doctors, lawyers. We have everybody who comes in. By the way, we have construction workers. The cigar store, and I'm going to say this, one of the great things, and one of the things I loved about going into it, and I'll talk to you about what the cigar store owners told me. One thing everybody who comes to my cigar store will tell you is that we're all from different places. Every person who comes in, we're different ethnicities. We are different religions. We are different. The only thing that I could say about our cigar store that we're small on is women. We do have women members, and we do have women who come in and smoke, but that is a true minority in our store. We have 3 women members, I would say, right now, maybe 4. Every day there's maybe 1 woman that comes in and buys cigars, maybe 2. Very, very few women come into the store. It's mostly male. But when I say male, I would say it's from every ethnic group, every race, every religion, every type of person, every socioeconomic background. And I'm talking about people who buy cigars who don't have any money, but they still live on their cigars. They could be extremely poor, but they love coming in and smoking cigars, or they could be extraordinarily wealthy and they come in and smoke cigars. So we have people, we have truck drivers, we have cab drivers, we have Uber drivers, we have people who work on Wall Street. So it's a huge mix of people who come into the cigar store. And the one rule we have at the store is everyone be respectful of everybody else. So yeah, we allow people to talk about, things, worldly issues, because that's, we're not going to censor people from talking. The only thing we do ask is that when you speak to someone that you're respectful of them, or else we throw you out of the store. We remove you as a member, or we ask you to leave. And we've had to do that on occasion. There have been people who have not been respectful and of others in the store. And that's why people love coming to our store, because we are extremely nice people. Everybody's extremely, everyone's. Yesterday I had a new guy in the store. He became a member of the group mentality very, very quickly, and he joined as a member. Joined as a member at the store right away. He was like, "I love this place. I want to be tell me about membership," and he joined right there. So that happens. By the way, there are subgroups in the store, and I'll talk about that too. There are people who smoke a lot of cigars who come in every single day, and then there are those people who come in once a month. There are people who like high-end cigars. There are people who like low-end cigars. Some people come in and, with a $10 cigar. Some people come in and want to buy, a $50 cigar. Some people by the way, cigar people are extremely generous. Some people like to buy cigars for other people. They'll come in, they'll buy a box. They'll hand it out to all the people in the store. They'll say, "Hey, enjoy it." A lot of people like to hear. One of the things you see in cigar culture, and it's a very specific culture, you like to hear how other people are enjoying their cigars. Is that a good cigar? Tell me about it. What do you think of? What do you think of the smoke? What do you think of the leaf? What do you think of the taste of it? It becomes a very social. It's a great way to start a conversation with somebody, and then you say, "Hey, what's your name? What do you do? Where are you from?" So it's very much a social thing, which is very unusual in the United States, because the United States is not a very social place. So I could say honestly that my closest friends at the store are Muslim, Christian, Jewish, Catholic, Hindu. Every person they are tall, fat, skinny, black, white, Latino, Indian, from Pakistan, from Haiti, from all over the world. Some are, how do I say it? It's a great collection. Everybody has their own history and their own stories, and they share it with each other. So let's go back to revenue. So I have to pay my biggest expenses at the store obviously are the cost of the cigars themselves, right? I have to buy cigars, refresh the cigars. I have to have a good selection of cigars because the people who come into the store demand a wide selection of cigars. I originally, when we first moved in, the original cost was furniture, obviously, painting, cleaning the place, construction, deconstruct. We had to take down some walls. We had to clean up. We had to fix the ceiling. Even though the landlord is responsible for the top ceiling, we fixed the bottom ceiling inside. We made it a beautiful place. Lighting, everything cost us money, and there was a huge build-in when we came in. That was a huge cost, and what you do with that cost is you amateurize the course. You should learn that word, amateurize. Most of you do know it, but I'll explain what it means. It means when you have a large cost, you pay out that cost, you pay back that cost over a period of time. So you amateurize the payments over a period of time, so you're not paying. So if let's say a guy came into the store and it cost me $250,000 to redo the entire store, new furniture, new lighting, new paint, everything, $250,000 worth of. I don't pay back that $250,000 right away. Some of it I have to pay right away, obviously construction and so forth, but some of those things I may be able to pay out over a period of time, pay back over. Now, usually when you pay something back over a period of time, you're not just paying it back, you're paying it back with interest, right? Interest. Because nobody wants to give you money and have you pay it back because they're losing money if you pay it back over a long period of time. So you have to pay interest on that money. And sometimes the interest could be fairly high, but usually it's market interest. So I was able to amortize, some of the purchases of cabinets, humidors, furniture over a period of time. So I paid that back. But I needed to buy new cigars. When I bought the store, there were some cigars there, but they were not great cigars. And he did not have a huge volume of cigars like I wanted in the store. So we had to buy cigars. The other thing that costs me money every month is obviously the rent. You have to pay out the rent. You have to have a lease. And I wanted a short-term lease because I didn't know how successful we were going to be. And I wanted to be able to get out of it. And I was worried about but I also wanted good terms on lease. I wanted certain things on lease that needed to be done to the building, Now we're in a strip mall, so I wanted certain things to be done, and I wanted certain assurances. It was a negotiation, but I had other people. I had a lawyer, and one of my partners is an accountant. So one of the great things was I didn't have to worry about accounting. My partner, who was an accountant, I'll tell you how I got my partners in another video. But basically, we were able to get a lease on the property and pay out fairly decent rent. It wasn't. It goes up every year, but it's a fairly decent rental. But I have to make that rent every month. That's the first thing I worry about. Then I have employees. We have employees at the store who work at the store. Not a lot, but now I would say we have about 6 that switch off during different times. And I have to pay them. Now I pay them minimum wage, plus I pay them, certain things. They all get, every one of them, for every shift that they work, they get a free cigar. So I have to calculate, it's not that much, but they get a cigar. They're allowed to sit there and smoke while they're serving the customers. And for every other cigar they want to buy, I charge them 50%. So if they want to buy another cigar, it's 50% of the cost of the cigar. So usually, if a lot of the guys who work, and women, I have women that work, 2 women that work at the store. Anytime they want to smoke, they get the first cigar for free, up to $25. They could get a free cigar, so that's calculated into how much I pay their salary. Plus, they usually smoke 1 or 2 other cigars while they're there, so they pay for another cigar, another 2 cigars, 50% of their cigar, and I take it out of their salary, and they just let me know that they took another cigar because we keep a very good inventory. Actually, the one thing, my inventory system is extremely good, and one of the patrons, one of the people who comes into the cigar store, put the inventory system in, so we pretty much know how many cigars we have, which cigars we have. And I can look on a spreadsheet and see immediately where we need to order new cigars, how many cigars we have, how many we're down, and I could see when the new cigars are coming in. I have all this information at hand, which is really something that people used to just do with a pen and paper. Now it's all done on a computer. So that's very, very good. That's very, very. Every time somebody buys a cigar, I know immediately on my computer at home. If someone's at the store and they make a big sale, or there's somebody who comes in and buys cigars, I know exactly how much we've sold for the day, at that moment. So when I talk about the two revenue streams, it's very important to understand that I have my membership revenue and I have my cigar sale revenue. Those are two separate revenue streams for me. I know for sure every month that I'm going to get a certain amount of money from my membership that will cover my rent and my my payroll for my employees. So I know for sure every month my rent is covered, my payroll is covered. And it was difficult during COVID. I'll talk about that a little bit later. But people still came in during COVID, which is funny. Our members never left during COVID. They like to work from the store. They would come into the store and work from the store instead of from their homes. They had to get out of their homes. So basically, everything pretty much is, my membership covers my rent and my payroll. And then all my profits come from my sale of cigars. All my profits are how many cigars I sell. So on any given month, my profits go up and down. Cigar sales are kind of seasonal also. Like during the winter, I would say January, February, March. Even though it's turned around this March, it's a little higher. The sales are down. December is a huge month because it's the holidays. People buy, actually November, December, people buy a lot of cigars. There's also a lot of parties people go to. And towards the summer, the cigar sales pick up quite a bit, especially because a lot of people in New Jersey, where I live, they like to golf, and a lot of golfers buy cigars. They come here, especially like on a Saturday, a Wednesday, they'll come into the store and they will buy cigars for the golf course, and they'll buy boxes of cigars for the golf course. So there's certain people that buy cigars. Golfers are one, boaters are one. Definitely bikers buy lots of cigars. We have different biking groups and so forth that come by. They buy a lot of cigars. So cigars have different groups that like to buy cigars, and you have to try to attract those groups to your store. I'll talk about that later. So I have these different revenue streams that come into my store. Now, when you do your business plan, you're going to talk about how much things will cost you and how you're not going to have to pay rent, because I told you your job, whatever it should be, should not have any rental costs. You should be working from home and so forth. But you should have different revenue streams for your job. Last but not least, I don't want to keep this video going too long because you're going to get bored. I want to talk about retirement one day with you. I think it's really important for you, even though you're looking at me like I'm so far away from retirement. Why do I want to talk about it now? Actually, you start your retirement planning. I would start it while you're still in college, obviously. Definitely when you get out of college. The first thing you do when you get out of college is you sit down with yourself and you get a piece of paper and you sit down and you figure out how are you going to retire? When do you want to retire? Now, you don't know what the future is going to hold. You don't know what kind of jobs you're going to be doing, where you're going to be at, what kind of salary you're going to be making. But you should have a plan, like a business plan, of what you want in retirement, when you want to retire. Now, you may say, I don't want to ever retire. I want to work till the day I die. Well, that's great. That also goes in the business plan. Because, you could plan all you want, but, God forbid, you get sick, or, something happens to you or your family. Things don't necessarily go always according to plan. You should have a plan for that, too. You should have, hey, I got sick when I was, 59, 60, and I had to retire. 70, whatever it is. So you should have a plan. What happens if I physically can't do the job anymore, or mentally can't do the job anymore? So you should have a plan. So you should have different revenue streams in retirement. When I say revenue, what I mean is you should have different, think of it like different rivers, revenue rivers. areas where money comes to you so that it adds up to a pile of money that is you need to live on. Now, with my business, I get revenue streams from different areas, from the cigars, from the membership, and there's some other things. We sell soda, we sell, there's things that we sell. We sell ashtrays, we sell lighters, we have all sorts of little things that people use for pipe. We sell pipe tobacco, we sell pipes. So we have other revenue streams, but pretty much my revenue streams are the sale of cigars and memberships at the store. And those are my two huge rivers of money that come in every month. And I have to make sure that those rivers are coming in every month or my business is not successful. Now, when I say profit, I have partners, that silent partners who gave me money to open up the store, knowing that I and another person would run the store. And they need to get paid every month. We make a promise to them that they will make a profit every month because they've outlaid this cash to us. This is a business for them. Now, there will be months that, it will be less money, months that it will be more money, but there's a certain amount of profit that by the end of the year they're expecting in order to have this infusion of cash. And when I go to them sometimes I need money from them in order to do things at the business. Like we had to put in a new HVAC system in the back to suck out the smoke. That cost money. I had to go to the partners and say, listen, you're not going to get your payments for the next 3 or 4 months because this is the outlay that we had to do and this is how it's split up. And so all your profits for the next 2 or 3 months, and they had to agree to that before I actually did the work. But that's the type of thing, unexpected. We needed a better HVAC system. The old one was no good. And we had to be able to accommodate the customers who were complaining that it wasn't sucking out the smoke. A lot of people don't like the smell when, they have cigars. They don't want to go home and smell full of cigar smoke. So if you have a good system, while you're smoking, it will suck the smoke out and put it outside and filter it. We had to do that. So I'm going to stop this here. I'm going to go. There'll be a part 2 on this week on Wednesday about this. I want to be able to kind of really explain the revenue streams, how my business is surviving. But by the way, most small businesses do not survive. I have friends in the store who come into the store who have small businesses that have not done well. I'll talk about that next time. They've had to sell their businesses, they've had to close their businesses, put their businesses into bankruptcy, and some have thrived. I have a good friend who's buying another. He owns 3 7-Elevens. He's buying another one. He does very well with his stores, but he has a lot of family that works in the store, so he doesn't have to pay a lot of salary, a lot of payroll. So that's pretty much it for today. Make sure you get your paper into me. I keep saying I have to put up the syllabus, but I haven't rewritten it yet, so this is my bad. I feel bad. I got to get it into you guys. I'll put it up on the Brightspace this week. Hope you're enjoying this class. I hope you're getting something out of it, even though it's asynchronous. Usually when I'm live, I think I think there's more of a connection between myself and the students. But listen, I'm teaching the same stuff I teach when I'm teaching live, so hopefully you're getting this stuff and you're getting something out of it. It's Fundamentals of Business is the name of the class, so I'm just going to say it. I'll give it another minute. Fundamentals of Business, which just really means the basics of business. So in a business, anybody could make a business. You don't need to go to college, really, to go to business school. And even I'm a college professor. Now you're going to get me fired. I'm going to tell you this. But it's a tool that you learn. Business is a tool. And the only way to do it is to do it. It's like saying, can I teach you basketball on a video? Yeah, I could teach you the basics of basketball. I could teach you, how to shoot, how to jump, the rules and regulations of basketball. I could teach you all of those fundamentals. But the only way you're ever going to really learn is to play basketball, right? I mean, you guys all know this. You can't teach someone, you have to do. And the same thing with business. I could teach you the fundamentals of business. That's what I'm pretty much teaching right now. I'm teaching you how to play basketball. But you have to play basketball in order to learn. You have to actually open a business, be in business to learn. Because if you're not in it, you don't really understand it. And that's the truth about business. That really is the honest to God truth that I think you'll get from my class for the whole semester. If you're not doing it, it's an intellectual exercise. That's what it is. It's kind of machinations in your brain, but it's not actually acting on it. And so with business, you really need to actually do it every single day. I think and I think you get better at it the more you do it, and the more you fail at it. You get better. You do things that are stupid. You learn from the things that you did that were stupid. You get better at that, and that's what I think business is all about. And that's what I think the business. I think I'm probably the only business teacher that teaches it like this. That says, listen, I can teach you everything. I can teach you all these things, and these are good skills. These are great skills that I can teach you all these things about business. But really, the only way you're ever going to learn business is to do business. And that's the hard, honest truth. And that's why I say a lot of people who never went to college are in business, and they're extraordinarily successful business people. There are men and women who didn't even go to high school, didn't even go to middle school. They're good business people. They know business because they went right into business and they learned business, and they don't need. They have people. If you say, well, you need an accountant. You need that. Yeah. So they hire an accountant, or they learn how to do accounting on their own, or they learn how to do trade on their own. They don't know how to do business plans. They don't know Harvard MBAs. They don't know Stanford MBAs. They've learned these things on their own through trial and error, and a lot of them are hard-edged, and they're hard-driven. Remember I told you one of the things that you have as an advantage is that you're from Brooklyn. You're kind of like a hustler. Yeah, a lot of these people are hustlers. They know how to get things done, and they work hard, and they work 7 days a week, and they're driven in terms of earning money for themselves and others. And by the way, that's what capitalism is all about. I mean, it's not just earning money for yourself. It's look, I support 6 people. Not their whole families. They work part-time for me, but I give them a lot of money every week. They come in, they expect, no matter what, they expect to get their paycheck at the end of the week, and rightfully so. They put in work. For every time you work, you deserve money for your labor. You're not a slave. So I employ 6 people, which is a big burden on my mind every night. I want to make sure that they get paid. I want to make sure that they are happy. None of them get health insurance from me because none of them are full time. They're all part time. But I give them all sorts of bonuses and all sorts of money, and sometimes they need more money ahead because something happens. They need some extra cash. I'm always willing to give them extra cash because they're loyal, and if I need them on a certain day and somebody's not there, they'll come into the store. So it's a two-way street. I would pretty much say that everybody who works for me and enjoys it, and those that didn't enjoy it, they've left. And I've had people who've left, and a lot of people who've come back and said, "Oh, I made a mistake. I really enjoyed working here. Why did I leave here?" But interesting stuff. So remember that I'll do a part 2 on this, and I'll do a part 2 really about how my business really works on a day-to-day basis. So as I said, that's really the important thing. I could tell you about my business, but unless you come in and actually work there and understand it, and even really my employees don't understand everything because they're always saying things, and I'm like, guys, you don't know what you're talking about because you have to own the place. You have to understand how all the parts, all the moving parts of the place in really order to understand it. The employees only get one view of the business. I think the ownership gets the real view of the business. All the costs, all the problems, all the things that, dealing with, with me, I have to deal every day with the people that sell cigars, the vendors. They could be very, very difficult to deal with, and and they're always trying to nickel and dime you and try to scam money out of you, and it's very hard. And you have to be very aware of that. So these are the things I deal with on a daily basis. Hope you're good. Hope you got something out of this video. Hope I didn't bore you too much. Enjoy the day, and I will speak with you later. Make sure you get that paper into me. And I'm going to be posting a video tomorrow for you about this kind of thing, about owning a business, and how to make your life. I mean, these are just fundamentals of business. These are not the intricacies of business yet, but that's what the course is about. It's an intro business class. Have a great day.